All right, I think we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Mitten Athletics Live. Your hosts, Aaron Ide, and Colin Hunter. If you have not checked out last week's episode, you have to go back and check it out, or last episode, I guess, episode 17. Go back and check it out. We had David.
4 weeks ago, my man. That was a long time ago.
All right. Well, listen, time flies. All right. We had Dave Emiette on from East Kentwood High School, and it was awesome. So please go check it out. It was a great episode. Just great to catch up with him and kind of hear or pick his brain on coaching stuff. But we are brought to you, as always, by Mitten Athletic Supplies. Please reach out to us with any of your track and field needs, questions, what have you. We're here for you. Mitten Athletics, plural, supply at gmail.com, and or reach out to us on here or however it works. But we're here for you for any of your needs or questions or anything you might have. So today we're going to go through a couple of different items, both state meet related. Outdoor state meet related. One is the MHSAA state meet, and one is the MITCA team state meet. A couple of takeaways from the MITCA clinic. What are we at? A week and a half ago now?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah. A couple of takeaways from stuff we learned there. Just kind of talk through. Some people probably know about it. Some people, this is going to be new for you. So yeah, we'd love to hear when this is done, what you guys think about it. If there's something that you're like, hey, we love this, we hate this. If you have a completely different takeaway or a different question on it, please reach out. Why don't you start, Colin?
So yeah, I was in the room. I think you were at your table at that point.
I believe I was, yeah.
So during the business meeting, I actually heard about this. A cool thing I did at the clinic, actually. So rewind a little bit more. They introduced a new thing at the clinic, and if you have not been there before, you should find a way to go next year.
It's awesome.
Whether it's a cross country clinic or the track and field clinic. I like it simply for the hearing people talk about what we do and how to train is fun. I think in our jobs, networking is very important.
Yep.
And getting to know your competitors and your peers is very important.
And if you did go this year and you did stop by to say hi, thank you. It was our first year there. It was awesome. My first year, but first year is Mitten Athletics. It was awesome. So thank you very much. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. The cool new thing they did was they had about an hour set aside on Friday, specifically for divisional meetings. So D1 met with D1 coaches, D2
that was
coaches.
New this year?
Coaches. That was new this year. First time.
That's really cool. I really like that.
Because every division is different. I mean, we're all in the same sport, but every division is different. It has its own issues.
Yep.
The things that D1 coaches struggle with are usually probably pretty different than the things that D4 coaches struggle with, simply because our teams are bigger, the meets are bigger, and it's not a skill issue. We know that there's awesome athletes at the lower levels, but simply because of population sizes and geographical differences, the issues that our divisions have are little different. So, yeah, they had those meetings, and at the end of that meeting, I think somebody asked a question or said something about stuff that happened during the state meet. I can't remember what it was. That's not the important part. But Sean from Rockford, because Rockford is hosting D1 this year. Sean O'Brien from Rockford, I heard mentioned in passing to somebody else, say that the MHSAA made a decision that coaches will not be allowed on the infield this year.
That's bullshit.
We'll get to that in a second. I'm assuming that coaches will still have a box by high jump. Okay,
they're gonna have to, especially for Rockford if you've ever been there.
Right. So we'll get to that. That's what I'll bring that up in a second. So what I want to there's one rumor that I heard that I would like to say out loud, but we want to be careful and be respectful and not speculate too much. There's some speculation we're allowed to do, but try to keep the conversation within within facts that we know, and within reasonable. Let's have some reasonably mild takes, not some hot takes, right? But so I'm assuming high jump coaches will still be allowed to coach's box because you can't not coach them. Literally, I think the most technical event in the sport. No, nothing against the throws.
No, I was actually going to say pole vault.
I think high jump is more technical than pole vault, personally.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah. So I heard that from Sean, and he said the decision was basically unilateral, and they just heard it from Cody at MHSAA, and so anyway, fast forward now where we're in the business meeting. So all divisions combined is where they hand out all academic team academic all state awards. They hand those out. They send out the survey to vote for coaches of the year per division, stuff like that. And then there's a message from the MHSAA. Unfortunately, Cody couldn't make it this year. Usually he's there in person to talk about their points of emphasis for the year. And he said in the video, there's two things we're going to talk about. Well, the first thing is he said in the video that coaches confirmed that coaches will not have access, and they have cited that it's a safety issue. So previously, the past few years, and I'm not sure what access was like, let's say 5 years ago, because just showing my coaching age here, I hadn't been there yet, right? So I'm not sure what it was like 5 years ago, but for the past few years, there has been a specific coach's box along the backstretch for distance coaches, and I believe sprint coaches have had some sort of access for pre-race and post-race stuff. Last year they had a system. Last year was like past 2 years. D1 was at East Kentwood.
Yep.
And the last year at all sites in our coaches packets, we were given a lanyard per team.
I think.
No, there were 2 lanyards because we had girls and boys qualified.
Got it. Okay.
So technically they're separate teams. If you didn't have any girls or didn't have any boys qualify, I think you only got 1.
Okay.
So you could have 2 coaches in the infield area, if they had a lanyard on. And of course, there's ways to get around that. You can, get somebody in and then discreetly walk over to the fence and pass it back to your next person. And there was ways to get around that. And I really hope that didn't contribute. Anyway, they're pulling that. No lanyard, no coach's box, no access. I have heard that there's going to be, so there's the break time, there's the prelims for the sprints, and there's a break time, and then finals begin. I believe that coaches have access to run through relay marks and everything, I think.
Okay.
Sprint coaches can get down there and do sprint relay coach things with their kids during that break time, I think. And then they have to get back off once the finals begin. So there were murmurs when he said that in the video. There was audible rumbling during that announcement. And again, they cited safety.
I would love to hear outside of the word safety what they're looking at.
Correct. Yes, me too. And
because
that's what. So, yeah, I'm monologuing here, but I did not. The high jump area specifically was congested last year.
Yep.
The coach's box was not congested. I would say people pushed the so you weren't supposed to be in the middle of the infield. People pushed that rule, but it didn't. I'm being 100% honest. I don't believe that it felt very crowded.
And
as the meet went on and as people left, I think it got less crowded as like near the end of the meet. So I personally at Division 1 did not feel, because we've all been at an invite or whatever, and it's a madhouse, and you have to look where you're stepping. The indoor meets at Grand Valley, there's so many people there.
And it's what we can do. Just so we're clear, as he says that, there's only so much space in some of those, so it's what we have to do.
Right. So in every we have our own invite. I run our meets. It gets really annoying when there's people doing dumb stuff on the infield. I yell at kids with frisbees and footballs every time we have a meet. And we even say in the rules in our invite documents, no playing catch on the infield. And so I get the frustration. I'm just saying I did not feel that it was overly unsafe. I don't think it was unsafe, and I don't think it was overly crowded on the general infield. High jump area was definitely tight.
Yep.
So anyway, I've got more, but go ahead.
My biggest concern with all this is that, and I know that there's going to be a lot of opinions on this, but MHSA is taking on a lot of responsibility by saying that they are going to be ensuring that every kid will be in the proper place at the proper time with no help. Because everyone forgets that these are still high school kids. I don't care if you agree to what level they're at or not. There's a lot of kids who are there that are still high school kids.
Right.
And MHSA now is saying that they are going to be directly responsible for ensuring that these kids are in the proper places at the proper times, and they're going to have to know all the proper zones, because there always seems to be a confusion that goes around. And on top of that, I mean, there has been, and it got brought up this year, that they don't always do the best with timing when it comes to first call and second call, and they hold kids at places for extra long periods of time. Not always, but it has happened. So then you are now putting these kids in a really bad position to say, okay, well, I don't have my coach to kind of help me. What should I be doing? Again, professional athlete, college athlete, sure. Should they know what they should do? Yes. These are high school athletes. You're going to get kids who are freshmen, sophomore, that get there. They don't know what they're doing. They're there because they're good athletes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a professional or they know all the knowledge of every track meet and everything that goes on.
Is that part of our job to educate them? Yes, it is.
Well, 100%.
Is it our job to put them in positions during the season to get them used to those situations? Yes, it is.
Sure. You're a teacher. You teach freshmen.
Yes.
Or sophomores. Tell me, do they learn everything all of a sudden right at once?
No, I introduce a new project and I repeat the instructions 5 times and I say it's written on Schoology. Here it is. I point to it. And 5 minutes later, the kid who's sitting right next to me says, "Hey, what are we doing?"
Yep.
Right.
So here's what you're going to see after this whole thing is said and done. The state meet should be the meet where everybody has the most fun and the best kids are there and you get the best out of all these athletes. You are now going to see additional levels of coaches petitioning and complaining after something didn't happen right because they couldn't get their kid in the right position. And the MHSAA is going to have a stance of, well, sorry, because that's what they have to have. Well, that's what they're going to have. And it's not a negative against them. This is not a negative against them, but they have to have that position. Like, they can't control all these kids either. They're taking on the control by saying coaches can't be there, but they can't control that many kids. So what they're saying is that you can't control them, but we can't either. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's going to have to be their stance. Otherwise they're going to put themselves in a really bad position. If they try to help one and not another, that will have to be their official stance.
Right.
But they're putting themselves in a bad position to see those additional complaints and additional problems that will come out of this. So that's why I would love to see what their true definition of safety concern is, and not just a simple, I mean, because safety is always a blanket statement that you can always put out there and it sounds really great. And we're changing this for safety. I've heard that before. But what does that mean?
Right.
Because half the time it's just a blanket statement.
So and here's where it gets a little spicier. So somebody said they heard that MITCA petitioned for it. So I'm not going to, if anybody is curious, go talk to somebody at MITCA. Okay. They will talk to you and explain things. And at that point, it's up to you to understand the words or not. However, I already did this, and I reached out to somebody at MITCA who I believe has a level head on their shoulders and will give it to me straight what they know. And I said, where did this come from? Did you guys know about it? Do you have any idea what's going on? Are there specific examples about safety? Right?
Yep.
And I was told, no, MITCA did not ask for it. It's coming from the officials association. So ATOM, I don't know what ATOM stands for, ATOM. But this is the only rumor that I will say out loud.
Association of Track Officials of Michigan.
Okay. So what I heard is that at their yearly meeting, they were told there would be nobody on the infield, and that was met with a standing ovation. That's what I was told. And I have certain, we were respectable officials.
100%.
It's track. There's never, I don't think there's many situations where I'm going to go yell at an official at an official at a track meet. This just, and we can talk about level. I'll talk about levels of like access and what I actually think about it in a second, but this just reeks of like old man stuff and a frustration that I have. So before I even started coaching track, I got on the email list to become an official. And the frustrating part about that, now people know we don't have enough officials. Part of the reason I believe is because they do a training once a year, one opportunity to become a track official per year. And it's not at a good time of year. There's a lot of road races the weekend that they do it, and people interested in officiating track are probably also, runners and might have their own stuff that they do. And the location, let me put it this way, if you only do one a year, the location is going to suck, period.
Yep.
Because you're cutting off a lot of access.
Yep.
So that's I guess that's a separate complaint that I have, but I think it's part of the issue. And this is another rumor, but this is the direction that they want to go for all meets, is what I was told. So whatever invite, whatever dual, quad, try,
I have a lot of
thoughts about that.
I have a lot of thoughts here.
But let's just back up to the state meet part first.
Well, okay, even backing up to the state
give me your 10-second thoughts. But then
I've had these conversations with officials before at a lot of different meets, not just the state meet. We had an issue last year at the state meet where there's confusion that comes from how stuff should be run, and it seems to turn into the best The best description I've ever given is this is what's best for the kids, which I will tell you right now, and you can talk about anybody else, is 95% of the time never what's best for the kids.
Usually they're
It's what's
trying to
best
get
for the official because they have somewhere they want to be or something else they want to do, or they think it's going to take too long. And I've had this too many times at too many different meets, and it's not just a state meet, but it's always this is what's best for the kids. And I'm like, I could give you 1,000 reasons why it's not and 0 reasons why it is. And it's an easy thing to say. So the other part I will say on this is that we are coaches, right? And our job is to ensure that these kids get the best out of every meet, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So I want to see them with a straight face and honestly tell me that it would be best for football to go this way too. And as soon as they can say that football is going to coach from the stands, or basketball is going to coach from the stands, or volleyball is going to coach from the stands, I'm in. But you know what they'll never say? Any of those items.
Right.
Because it has nothing to do with what's actually best for the kids. It has to do with what some people think is best because they don't like that there's some coach standing within 10 feet of them when they're trying to look, or whatever the reason is that it's their safety concern. Now, if there's a true safety, if there has been true safety problems that we do not know about, I would love to hear about them, and that might completely change my mind. If that's the case, great. Because I'm also about it's best for the kids, and if the kids are potentially going to get hurt because something is going on, sure, tell me about it. Let's talk about it. Let's see it. And then let's make an informed decision based on that. But if not, you can't say it's best for the kids. You can't say it's best for the sport because it isn't.
Right. So if we so comparing it to, and here's how I can, so we can go so many directions here. Trying to get my thoughts coherent as possible. So I put out there on a different channel to other coaches in other states, what is your access? Because I'm curious, like the easiest way, I think the easiest way to say, like, look at the different states, because for instance, we're talking about adding new events like triple jump. And the easiest way to justify doing that is, okay, what are other states doing? Right.
Yep.
So same thing. I want to know what other states are doing. I heard back from Washington State and Texas and Georgia, and it's in all 3 of those, there is no access. So coaches have to coach from the stands.
Okay.
It's only 3 states. Comparing it to the ball sports is probably the best way in the communication factor. I guess 2 things: the respect factor and the communication factor.
Yep.
Like, if I'm supposed to coach from the stands, that means I'm in the same area as the parents.
Right. Which that means
no disrespect to parents, but like, again, you're not going to put football coaches in the stands with parents.
Nope.
The thing about it is the communication, right? And speaking as here it is. Speaking as a distance coach, I can handle not having the box. Okay. I don't need to get, and in fact, if I wanted to get collect splits for my kids, I can probably get a better view from the stands.
Agreed.
Right. And probably write it down easier. Is my yelling at the kid at track level going to help him that much? It's probably marginal.
Depends on the kid.
I can get behind no coach's box for distance racing. That's fine. It's the 5 minutes before and after, right? It's the immediate before and the immediate after. And Rockford is a very good example of why I'm frustrated about this. And so disclaimer, because we should always give disclaimers. Like, hosting the state meet that's a whale, right? That's a whale of a thing. I'm not volunteering to do that. I don't want to do that.
Hats off to everyone who is willing to do it.
I'm cool with an invite in our conference meet. I don't need to host a regional. I don't want to deal with a championship meet like that. It's so much. So hats off to Rockford and the staff, the people there that make it happen. Rockford is a beautiful football stadium.
Yep.
Beautiful football stadium.
Yep.
The Mondo track, the track is gorgeous, but it's a football stadium. Okay. If you say that there's no coaching area at the field level, it's getting around that stadium when it's full, and at the state meet it's full. It's packed. There's not many good places. I don't think that like Tent City is the place to be like pumping kids up for their race and debriefing. Like the immediate before and I believe the immediate before and the immediate after is important. And at places like Rockford, where it's a big, beautiful facility, but it's hard to get around, it extends that time.
Yep.
And again, like if I can talk to a kid immediately before, I can give them the reminders. Okay, this is where you're supposed to be. It's this call. It's whatever. Go here, right? Especially for the younger. If you got a younger kid, or you got one of those absent-minded kids, like yes, there are, and the coaches from the other states, like one of them said, like it's all like they should be prepared at that point to compete on their own, right? And I don't necessarily agree with that at the high school age.
Right. I don't disagree with that as an overall sentiment. And if you say, well, the Olympics are that way, well, yeah, if there's an Olympics athlete that's in their first year of competing, holy shit. Well, that's
exactly same thing.
Beyond an athlete. Could you have a freshman that's at the state meet in their first year competing? Yes. Does it happen often? No, but can it happen? Yeah. So to sit here and expect these kids that are trying to learn how to be a 13, 14-year-old kid that just went from middle school to high school to now learn a sport and they realize they're good at it, and then also know every bit of that sport, a sport that isn't played all the time, a sport that we don't have for the most part, third grade football, fourth grade football, fifth grade basketball, volleyball. Yeah. Do you see a lot of track teams that have that? Sure, there are some. Are there a lot? No. So these kids are learning this right now. And so to put them in positions where all of a sudden they have to go on this track, they have to know every bit of everything. We can't help them. You are controlling when they have to be called in, and then maybe it's way longer than it should be. Well, what should I be doing to warm up, coach? Well, sorry, too bad. You're in that tent. I can't talk to you, so good luck. Oh, by the way, there's also no electronics, so I can't talk to you that way. Oh, and my guess is they're not going to set up a coaching box in the first 3 rows of the stadium, so also good luck hearing me from the top of the stadium, because that's where I could get to, because I had to be on both sides of the stadium.
Right.
Here's the problem. Nobody thinks through any of this. Not saying they do or don't, but there isn't thought through on any of this. And they just say, this is what it's going to be because some group said it's going to be awesome and it's going to be so much better, but not for the kids.
Right.
And especially when it all comes down to it, as we've talked so many times,
if the idea is restricting access at dual meets earlier in the season, that's definitely not good for the kids, because then you can't teach them the right way to do it.
Also, to be fair, no one's actually going to listen to that.
No, you're not keeping. When we're at our field, I'm sorry.
I might feel bad for the Adam officials or whatever, but no one's listening to that. No one's actually going to give a shit what you say at that point, because we're trying to teach these kids.
You're going to need to put a label on this episode if you keep on.
Fine. I only have 2. I think we get 3, so I won't do it again.
Is that how it works?
No, I have no idea. I just made that up. But this is how we teach these kids. Like you said, if you're at a dual meet and we have to teach these kids that, how do you expect to teach them if we can't teach them at a meet, but they have to be ready for the state meet?
Right. So if we hear any more about that, so I guess one last thing is, it sounds like there is some method of communication and pushback that is going to happen through official channels at some point. So, well, hopefully
we will keep it in the loop.
Whether or not It's the same as last year. I hope that there is a solution that helps us, like I said, yelling mid-race and stuff, and getting splits or whatever. That's not what I'm worried about. We need a way to be able to talk to the kids and prepare them.
Correct.
So the other bit of news is, and this has been kind of building for a while. They said out loud officially that the MHSA is exploring, keyword exploring, taking over the MITCA team state meet. And
Actually,
this is also full of, this is fraught with feelings and opinions.
I'm gonna jump in and say that I don't have as strong of an opinion on this one. I like the way it's ran right now, and I like that MITCA runs it. But I think if it's done the same way, I wouldn't dislike the MHSAA having it.
I'm assuming. Let me guess why. Because it adds. I'm assuming because if it has the official stamp, then it adds a little bit more, not legitimacy, but a little bit more. It means a little more.
Weight.
Yes, weight.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more importance to it. Because
right now
you got half the state doesn't care about it.
Yep, agreed. Which it shouldn't be, but I think that's a big piece of it. I think that it would bring more teams in to want to do it. Right. I think it would bring more teams in that would try to compete. But my fear, and as we're seeing this with other stuff, is that if they take it over, it will not be what it is. And that's where it's going to be a problem. And that's where we're going to end up having a third team state meet or a third state meet, because then MITCA will then start another one because we're going to have to, because it's the only way to
I don't think that would happen. I don't think that would happen. But so for the uninitiated, because maybe there's some people that don't know how it works. The MHSAA team trophy is handed out at the MHSAA state meet, and you don't qualify a team for the state meet, you qualify individuals. And so some team might have 3 kids, some teams might have 1 kid, somebody might have 3 relays and an individual, and you might have a thrower and a sprinter. And so the fun part that I have discovered about the MHSAA state meet is just the crazy combinations of athletes and how the scoring works. I think that's the most fun part about state finals.
It is.
I mean, it's fun because it's state finals and it's high performance, but like the track geek in me is like, love seeing, different combinations of kids. Love seeing, who was it? Was it Wild Lake West?
Wild Lake Central
last
year.
Had
a chance last year to win it with only throwers.
It's crazy.
To be fair, they had a high jumper that won it, but if everything had gone well, they wouldn't have needed his help. They could have won it without him.
Right. And we're not talking they qualified a few kids who were there for a good time. Like they had the points on theoretical points.
Yep.
So anyway,
but with the individual state meet, the way it is right now, in theory, 1 kid could win it.
In theory, and that's what people get so up in arms about, because in theory, the problem is, yes, Tyrone Wheatley existed. TJ Duckett existed.
Yep.
I think in New Jersey. Ron Dane existed.
Yep.
But man, especially the D1 level.
It's a theory. In theory, it can happen.
It's a theory.
But
this is the thing I've changed my mind on as I've grown. Everybody, whatever the issue, whether it's cross country regions, which is always a cluster.
Yep.
Whether it's how many divisions we have, whether it's state meet stuff. Everybody has their own idea about what the perfect world would be.
Yep.
And what I have tried to do whenever these conversations come up is, the funny thing is the perfect world that people describe is normally what's perfect for their situation and their team.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tried to grow away from that and just, okay, this is the system, and we are going to do the best we can to make our team the best it can be inside this system. So younger me was all about, yeah, let's make the team state meet be the team trophy, because I saw that as an easier path to it.
Yep.
And I have changed my mind. And so nobody knows, like, okay, they take it over. Does that mean that there's no team trophy at the current state meet anymore? Is it like wrestling states? Is it like what's actually happening? I would like, I really want to earn a team trophy from the current state finals, because that means a lot. I also want to win the MITCA meet.
I would be completely fine if they didn't change anything. If there was still a true state finals and a team state finals trophy, make them two separate trophies. You can win either. I don't care if MHSAA has it. I don't care if MITCA has it. I don't care if
that's the simplest solution I see is if MHSAA takes it over, just make just make two of these trophies.
Just be done. Call one the team state trophy and call one the state finals trophy, or whatever you want to call it.
And somebody was like, well, that's not how wrestling does it. And I don't, it's a different sport.
Right. But it's hard for me. It's tongue in cheek because I just used other sports as an example in our last one.
Well, yeah, you're right. But still, it's also,
I agree with what you just said. It's a different sport, but we can have championships different ways. Other teams have championships different ways.
Right.
So we can do that. If you're going to go off those examples, okay, well then if that's the case, then there should be 8 state titles, right? Not 4. Because if we're going to follow it, there's 8 for football. So there should be 8. Well, we don't follow that.
Sure.
If you're going to, so I understand that maybe it's a little counterintuitive what I just said about, how the coaching in the stands and everything else, but
I don't think that's counterintuitive.
I like the way that it is currently, and I don't care if it's MITCA. I don't care if it's MHSAA. I know there's a lot of people talking about different scoring systems, like, oh, we want to do it, but we want a different scoring system. I love the way it's scored. I love that it truly requires you to have 3 people in every event, and it measures you against who are the best 3 on another team in every event. That's the way it should be. If you qualify, you're qualifying as a team. There's a full team.
Yep.
I love that. That's personally.
I could take the scoring system. I could take it or leave that.
What would you rather see?
What's that?
What would you rather see if the scoring system changed? Because I saw a bunch of stuff on the...
I personally like true championship scoring, 10-8, 10-8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So would you say then that?
Yes, because it's the opportunity.
3.
Opportunity.
So you still qualify 3.
Yes.
But you would score it like a normal.
Still bring your team. Still bring the team qualifies.
Okay.
That I would say, if it, again, most people have their own perfect idea. I feel like the scoring, the easiest, like if it got taken on, score, because it seems weird that the last place person in whatever event, to me, they're probably not gonna like.
Yeah,
well, like I say that, but it's funny because I think when we hosted it, it came down to 1 point between EK and Zealand West?
I think so.
Yeah,
but still, it's the last place person, but that last place person could. And this is where, take it for what it is, but the last place person can still be better than 75% of the other athletes out there. But
sure,
I get it.
I just mean, like, people talk about, like, I never understand why people call it, like, dual meet scoring because it's so not dual meet scoring.
Oh no, it's not.
It's not even close.
No.
I just think that regular championship scoring is clean.
Okay. No,
And
I don't.
if you're qualifying your team, that's the team part of it, and it's the qualifying and the opportunity. That's the part that I like about the meet itself.
And I could get behind that, honestly. I guess the scoring I'm not as, because if I think about it more, like your D3 and your D4 teams, a lot of teams aren't going to have that many to score anyway. So it's really not scoring all the way down to 1, because there's a lot of teams that don't have 3 in every event.
Right.
There's a lot of D4 teams that can barely put 3 in one event, let alone 3 in every event.
Right.
So I understand the side of it, and I guess I could at least be okay with a scoring change as long as it still was truly you're qualifying the team.
No, I think that's the assumption. I think that's the big difference, and that's the assumption.
Yeah.
And I don't think that changing,
but then
changing the scoring, like, me and
how
you
do you
could
qualify
go
a
in,
team then?
that's I think that
Do you keep the current scoring to qualify?
No, I think people are talking about, what I heard is that the most likely method would be probably like your top 2 or 3 per region.
Yeah, see, I don't.
Okay, tell me with a straight face that that's not going to change the teams that are there. It's not.
I guess I can't tell you. I don't know.
I guarantee you. Here's the thing. I love the power rankings are fun. Okay, I love it. I like it. It's fun. It's great to watch. It's good entertainment. I would bet you, I'll bet you a case of beer right now, and we can go do the research, that if you change the scoring and if you change the qualifying, I would bet you that the same top 2 teams, that, I don't know how I want to word this bet, but I bet there's less than 10% change in qualified teams. And I bet that the first and second team per meet are the same 2 teams for the past, since I've been coaching. I would go do that research.
You realize there's a chance that we wouldn't have made the team state meet that way, but we would have made it the way it is now.
Yeah, that's okay. Sure, I get it.
I'm just using us as an example, as a direct example. And it also, so I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it also comes down to there's a lot of control then that goes into how they set up regionals. There's a lot more control then that goes into how they set up regionals.
I don't think so.
You start changing teams around, you could throw 3 or 4 good teams in there, and you might have a 4th place team that doesn't get in, that if they were in the region,
I don't need to have this argument. I don't need to have this argument about we just
I'm not
got
arguing.
the EQ. We just got the EQ. I don't need to have it's the same thing as college football, right? We don't need to be arguing about the 16th team in the college football playoff, because most of the years that team is not going to win.
No,
team that takes 3rd or 4th in their region, they're not going to win MITCA. It's not going to happen.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying that if you're looking at trying to make it fair for qualifying, I like the way that they qualify right now is my point on this.
I think that's less fair, if you want to be honest, because it all depends on who goes to what meet and gets their marks in. And if you wanted to talk about fair and equitable, that's probably the least fair and equitable, because schools with more resources have a method can create meets or go to meets, right? But everybody has access to regionals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then if that's the case, then do you then have to take into account EQ?
Maybe listen. I'm not going to die on the hill. I'm saying I will research, because I'm curious. If we change the scoring system, I would make the bet that
I bet you have less than 10% change.
10% change in champions.
Yeah.
You're right.
I bet we were
what year? How high in the power rankings were we? I think our boys barely got in the first year. Our our best
Sure.
performance was 2 years ago, and we came second in our region. Right.
Yeah.
So the year that we had our best performance, we deserved a shot to be there because we were second place. Anyway,
Yes.
I
No, I would be fine with if there wasn't major changes. And like I said, scoring wise, I think there's a lot to work out if you're going to do that and how the qualifying would work. And that's probably my biggest question of it. But other than that, I'd be okay with the actual team state meet changing scoring if it went to that, if it was a qualification by team.
Yeah, no, I think that
You ran it like it does now.
That's not going to change, because if otherwise you're just creating another individual states.
Right. So if you ran it like it does now, where everybody has to run, can run up to 3 in every event, and there's no additional qualifying, there's nothing else, it's up to 3 in every event, and they're only going to score the top X number, I can get behind that. I mean, do I think it takes away from a little bit of what the team state meet truly is now, where it's you have to have a full team there to score? Yes. But do I think it would make that much difference in the long run? Probably not.
I think
it probably helps.
It's a fun meet right now, and that's the focus. It's a fun meet. Like, I don't care, whatever. If we win it, Lord willing, we win it someday soon, and Team X from whatever other part of Michigan like laughs at us because we give a crap. Like, I don't care. It's a great meet. Everybody that goes for a reason, because it's really fun.
Yep.
I do think that the scoring change would add a little bit more. It would add, like you said earlier, weight. That would be because there are some people who don't like it because it is gimmicky.
No, I can get behind that. I can, so like I said, I can see the scoring change. I would just be curious to see what the qualification would look like.
Right.
And I will piggyback on what you said just a few minutes ago. I have a lot of statements about the MHSA, or however you want to look at it, and there I know it comes across as very negative, but I do want to say in a very big positive, the EQ has been one of the best things that they have done in the last, I can't tell you how long, and I love it. I know that some people don't like it or don't like where the standards are right now, but I love how it was put in, implemented, and I think it really, I think honestly it wasn't that far off. I think they did a really good job with standards last year.
I don't know if you were in the room or not, but at the beginning of the divisional meeting, like,
it was not at the very beginning.
So the first, Josh Vork from Zealand was the moderator essentially, and the first thing he did was what good things happened, and lots of praise for the EQ. Lots of good comments.
So that's me giving.
I don't think none of the negative comments were about the EQ. Like, there were negative comments, more negative comments than positive comments, but I don't think there were any negative comments about the EQ. So that's awesome.
No, and so I'm just saying, like, I know I give a lot of hard to what the MHSA does, and I know that they are in a tough position. I know that everything that they are up against a lot of different components. So this is not me being just a true I hate on them, because I don't. I think they do a lot of good things.
90% of what they do is awesome.
And the EQ is one of those things that we talked about for years, and outside of this we talked about for years, and I'm glad that it finally went in, and I love it. So I just want to get it out there that please don't take it as I am a direct anti-MHSAA, because that is not it at all.
Right.
So
anyway, so it's probably that. We're going in circles now. If you're still here, again, want to repeat, and they're investigating, exploring, taking over Team State. None of what we said is things we've heard other than they're exploring taking it over.
Yep.
Any of the past 20 minutes was, here's what we think would make sense, or here's what we would like. None of that was from any official source. So if you're listening to this, if you're half listening, none of that is how it's going to work.
But if you have opinions on any of that, or you would like to see something, please comment, reach out, email, something. Let us know because we would love to hear it.
And a step further, if you're ever frustrated about something, then contact the Coaches Association in an official capacity.
Yes.
Don't go on Facebook and complain.
Go on Facebook, figure out who you need to talk to, and then reach out to them.
And I would take it a step further. If you're dissatisfied, get on MITCA somehow.
Yes.
Don't just complain. If you're not going to be part of the solution, don't. If you're going to complain about representation, then be represented by serving somehow.
If you haven't reached out, if you didn't come to the clinic, you don't have a true ability to be able to complain too much because you had your opportunity to spread your voice and you didn't, and then you just complain later.
Right.
Like, come say something. Come join the clinic. Come talk to somebody. They are here to help us. Our Track Coaches Association, MITCA, they do a very, very good job of listening to what we truly want, and they look at what's truly best for the sport and try to push it. Do they win every time? No, I'd say probably they lose 75% more than they win when that takes it to MHSAA. But that's the only way they're going to get through.
Yep.
So voice your opinion, be one of the ones, help push those things through.
Yep. So anyway.
Okay. You have anything else?
No, we need to save some conversation topics for the next time. Yes.
All right. Next, if everything goes to plan, the next 2 episodes, one, we will be bringing in a special guest, a transfer from a high school coach to a college coach. So we want to pick his brain on what that is like and what it's like now having to go from recruiting the hallways to recruiting the Instagram or athletic.net or meets or however their ability to coach or to recruit is. But we want to talk to him on that. And then we want to do an episode here before the indoor state meet in 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, on a quick recap of the indoor season as we are now finishing that up and then talking through what the indoor state meet should look like, which should be a lot of fun this year. And for those who, I'm sure everybody knows who is paying attention, but has moved to Aquinas. So it'll be a little bit different this year with a 3-day meet. So that should be it'll be a little bit different than what it was supposed to be. It'll match. I
love that it's in our backyard. I'm probably going to have to leave at the same time from my house in order to find parking.
I know that is the big negative. And unfortunately, I really want to be there all 3 days, but I think I'm going to have to leave for, I have to go to Nashville for work. So I think I have to leave that Sunday. Different, actually we'll talk about later, but anyway, so that is that. Anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, if you have made it through this far, we really appreciate it. If you have any comments on what we talked about, if you would like to join us in conversation, if you want
positive conversation, no complaining.
Positive.
No.
Or if you want to complain, make sure you @ Colin on it. But please reach out, talk to us. We would love to have the conversation. We'd love to hear your opinion. And if you have ideas and things you want to hear us talk about, please let us know. We'd love to do that as well. So thank you very much. Again, Mitten Athletics Live, Aaron and Colin, brought to you by Mitten Athletics Supply. We're here for you. Anything you need, just reach out, talk to us. We love it. So thank you. And we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.